And also, lest we forget, Christ, because this is not just an AWA Championship Wrestling, which, as you know, I very much like these days. This is the Star Spangled Slam, which has got music by James Brown. Living in America. I think that's what they're using, whereas I prefer Gravity. The big G. G-R-E-V-I-T-Y. Good God. So I dropped it on the one, and I also got on the good foot there. It's my right foot. Anyway, they've palled up with Community Championship Wrestling, and they're at a Community Championship Wrestling venue, and they have, get this, an hour and a quarter of work here. I don't think any NAWA show has been that long. Will the quality go throughout and continue to be wonderful throughout this? No, it won't. It won't be a massively high quality throughout, but that's what you get, ain't it, with wrestling shows? But it'll be bloody good, and I like that. First of all, we've got Jeff Connolly, who I know from Southern States Wrestling, of course, versus Paul Kane. Paul is more of the experienced wrestler, but Jeff Connolly's been doing it for a while, and his music is what you want to give you, what you need, you. And excess. In excess. Not NXS. In excess. That's correct. Oh, a bit of windy pops there. Now, we do have some work with the arm, which is not entirely arm work, but that is what the commentary team of Michael Elliott and Curtis Robertson are telling us. It is arm work. They mentioned it several times. They mentioned George South liking arm work, and that he might have invented it. I also get a mention this week, and Michael Elliott says, who? Michael? I know you're joshing. Anyway, back in the match, we get a Connolly arm drag. Paul Kane just wants to get the chokes in. He chokes him blatantly, pulls him out of the corner so that his head hits the mat and all of that. I've said he pulls him out of the corner hard way, which he does. Cranks on the head. Got a lot of head work here. Maybe that's a new thing, head work. But anyway, back elbow, leg drops, several of them. I think 2 of them for a 2 count. However, Connolly is not out. He's not out and about either. He's actually in the ring, but he's not out of this. And he gets a neckbreaker counter after, as Curtis says, Connolly has met that elbow several times with his face. That's a great way of putting it. But he does counter, the neckbreaker counter to a backslide, runs into Kane rather with a clothesline, gets a jawbreaker and a kind of flatliner. Kane gets his foot on the ropes, and then he just grabs the head, drives it through the mat, and gets the pin, which is marvellous. Then we've got Pony Johnson here versus the Saint, Hunter Young. As Curtis tells us, the most spiritual gentleman. Rather good, this, actually. And a bit of a surprise, too, in that there is a Pony Johnson dropkick. I mean, for a man of his size, it looks good that he gets up there. A hip toss from Hunter Young, and an arm drag. A very sweet dropkick, actually. Full extension on that. Mounted punches in the corner. 10 of them. Count them. 1, 2. I won't go through that, because I can only go up to 6, generally. Anyway, we've got Young running into a big clothesline for a 2 count. And a headlock, which is worked. It's worked from Pony, which I don't mind. Young then misses an elbow drop. And we go back to the worked headlock from Pony, which I don't mind. And then some Young kicks. But Pony picks him up on a high cross body attempt. Hits a huge power slam. But Young's back with a massive head kick. And then a really quick frog splash. And he gets the pin. I'm shocked because Pony Johnson was on a roll. He's bigger than Young. But no, he gets the win. I like that. And I like being welcomed to the 4th of July by Boogie and Magnet and the Captain and George South, and even Golden Gladiator 2 tries to be nice. Doesn't manage it, but he tries to be nice. And then we've got Dante Khalifa versus and Dylan Dollar versus the Moonshine Express. Now, The Moonshine Express get the headbutt earlier. Uncle Elmer is in there. As Curtis says, it hurts because because his liver's calcified. I don't know about that. Although they do have the hills in the stills, of course. Khalifa has to go to the eyes several times, actually. Hits a drop kick. Is then caught by BMB. He gets some punches in, but he goes to the eyes again through the mask. Does Khalifa. High crossbody for a 2 count. Dusty Money is then in. Bites Dylan Dollar. Gets a headlock, which is worked. And a nose grab. That's naughty, that. Pulling on the schnoz is very naughty. Cocks his leg on him. That's even naughtier. Very naughty. It is so naughty. Naughty. Anyway, he hits that bulldog, which works really well. Springboard forearm. In comes the BMB, the big nasty bastard, for a noogie. I don't like that. I think it's comedy wrestling, but I'm not keen on it. I am keen on the BMB wheelbarrow slam. He just slams Dusty Money onto Khalifa. And then Khalifa holds him for a Dylan Dollar high cross body, which is good. Khalifa gets the choke on Money with Khalifa's shirt, takes his own merch off and chokes him with it. Elbow drop with some real snap, actually. And then whilst BMB is trying to get in, it allows the other team to double team. You've got a lot of experience, BMB. You do this, you let your emotions get the better of it. He's an emotional man. He's crying with a mask. And tries to get in, allows the other team to double team. The other team to double team. Money, though, hits a desperation springboard elbow. But these desperation moves are getting more and more intricate every week. Needs the tag, crawls to the ring, to the ropes. Will he get it? He gets it. BMB hits the elbow drop, a double noggin knocker, an atomic drop reversed, a missile drop kick from Dusty Money, and then he hits a clothesline for the pin. Doesn't usually end like that for the Moonshine Express, but it did this week, and it was blooming good. Now, Kerry Morton versus Luke Fury is pretty good as well. I don't know who's going to be the heel here, because I've seen both of them healing it up in the past. It's rather good. Test of strength to begin with is worked very nicely. With Fury shouting, as he gets taken down. I like that. There's a very snug Fury arm drag. And Kerry Morton bails to get a bit of... I think he's playing the heel in this. I don't think that... Luke Fury's not playing to the crowd, but he is a de facto face or good guy in this, I would say. Nice slingshot suplex, though, from Kerry Morton. His chops are very tough. And when the action spills to the outside, Luke Fury takes the opportunity to dive onto Morton, which works very nicely. Smooth back suplex, though, from Morton. And then knees to the back. They're really quite nasty. And a headlock, which is worked. A knee to the ribs, which is even nastier. A figure four. There are woos in the crowd, which I like. And Fury reverses it, of course. And it's great that he just gets to the rope eventually. Does Kerry Morton. That's really nicely done. He works on the legs, though. Massive posting twice. And Michael Elliott's surprised at that. Shocked, and quite right. Catches the cutter attempt. But there's a springboard crossbody from Fury for a 2 count. Double clothesline. Who's going to be up first? Who's going to get there first? They exchange knee lifts, knee lifts, actually, running knees. Morton's was a bigger running knee. He takes the knee pad down, misses that drive-by knee, slingshot corkscrew cutter. He likes to get the springboard cutter, does Luke Fury, but he puts a corkscrew in it, a twist in it, and they trade covers. The kids are screaming at this point because they're so excited, and Morton thinks I've had enough of that. Package pile driver, takes him home in that way. It was really good, really good. And then we get some women's action. It's not great for the AIWF belt. It's Ava Brooks, who's the champion, versus Mila Johnson. Now, Ava Brooks spends quite a long time after their handshake putting a hurt on Mila Johnson with a snug clothesline, a nasty Death Valley driver, a hip attack. There are some forearms from Mila Johnson, but she falls to a Samoan drop, a cartwheel elbow from Brooks, a basement drop kick, tries to get back in with a jawbreaker, hits a sort of knee lift, knee lift, and a sort of sling blade and a kick to the face, and then a sort of tarantula choke with a guillotine in it, rolls through, which is lovely, but that flatliner puts her down and out, and it weren't bad at all, but it weren't great. Now, Jaquan McNair, for your main event, is facing Ken Magnum, who has got a manager in his corner. Is she called Miss Sanna? Maybe Michael Elliott can tell me. I couldn't quite detect it. But early on, Ken Magnum can't get Jaquan McNair down. Even though he's the bigger fella, that must have been really upsetting him. So McNair just hits an enziguri with a rather delayed reaction from Magnum. He kind of stands there and then goes. It's lovely. Sweet clothesline as well. Sweeter drop kick from McNair. But Magnum's back with a snap suplex, a really nice basement drop kick in the corner, and McNair almost gets him with a sunset flip. I usually dislike that move intensely. It really worked this time because it was set up well, and I thought this could be the end. Then there's a body slam from Magnum with authority, actually, but he misses a leg drop because he waits around for ages, joying with the fans. Big spinning kick from McNair, a slam of his own with equal authority, a belly-to-belly suplex. Magnum rolls out. Then the manager, Magnum's manager, I think she's called Miss Sanna, gets involved by holding on to Jaquan McNair's feet, like Bobby Heenan at, I'm going to say WrestleMania 6. Is it? But I think it's SummerSlam. You know, he held on to the Warrior's feet and Rude won the Intercontinental Championship. Quite rightly too, in my view. But no, it can't be 6, can it? It must be 5. It must be 5, WrestleMania 5. Because in 6, the Warrior was facing Hogan, wasn't he? Passing the torch and such like. Anyway, that's how they get the pin. But one of the owners comes out. He's unhappy with the result. He saw that happen. Once it restarted, and of course he can because he's the owner, or the co-owner, folks. And it's classic wrestling 101. Magnum is protesting to the co-owner, turns round, walks straight into an F5. That's your pin. Jaquan McNair takes it home. Generally, Community Championship Wrestling have won in these bouts, but the main event's gone to NAWA. And that hour and a quarter flew by. You know why? Blooming great. Ta-ta.